Perfect, guys. Welcome to our Power Within. Thank you so much, Mr. Clark, for sharing that. Thank you for the coming to the Power Within on tonight. My name is B. Burrell. I'm a part of this amazing space within Genocide Generational Wealth, guys. We focus on five keys to wealth, and that's spiritual wealth, mental wealth, emotional wealth, financial wealth, and physical wealth. And if you really look at those areas, you'll see how we can really put more emphasis and really break those areas down into so many different categories. But those are areas that we really put at the tipping point so that we can go through each segment and become the best version of ourselves. If you work on being the best version of yourself, maybe not every day, but at least every single week, drop some ones in the chat box if you really focus on being a better version of yourself. Because that's the lifeline. That's the life goal, guys. It's just always figure out, you may be good at what you're doing, but I want you guys to write this down, because this is something that I live by now. Never allow you being good to be good enough. All right. You may be good at on your job. You may be good at how you express your love to your family. You may be a good driver. It's so many things that we're good at, but what's the next level that you can go to? All right. One question I want to ask everybody as you're in pursuit to greatness. All right. As you're in pursuit to infinitely, continuously grow, I want to ask you on tonight, what's your faith threshold? All right. What is your faith threshold? Faith means complete trust and confidence in something in spiritual aspect is complete confidence in God. Right. So complete trust and confidence. And so when you look at that, when you really break that down, it really means there's no room for doubt. There's no room for hesitation, that you completely lean into it. When I take a flight, I have complete trust that I'm gonna make it to the next city. All right. When I go to Chick-fil-A, I have a complete trust that my meal is gonna be correct every time. All right. Anybody else agree? Yes or no in the chat? There's certain places that have a reputation for excellence, right? There are certain things that we do, certain places that we visit that have a reputation. They withhold a standard. All right. So I know me personally, being a Chick-fil-A fan, I haven't had any problems with Chick-fil-A ever. Anybody else on the call? Right? Or you can drop those personal places that you go, or friends and family that you know of, that you have complete trust and confidence in, right? The definition of trust, ladies and gentlemen, is firm belief in the reliability. Okay. They're reliable, right? The reliability, the truth, the ability, the strength of someone or something. All right. So believe in the reliability, to believe in the truth, to believe in the ability, and to believe in the strength of. That is the definition of trust. To believe in reliability, truth, ability, and strength of. I completely have trust in God. I trust God's reliability, right? Anybody else trust God's reliability, or whatever your spiritual belief is? I trust God. That is my faith. He has been completely reliable in my entire life. I have never, ever been in a situation where he has not come through. Okay, does anybody else agree, touch and agree? Right? I believe that God is the truth. I believe in his ability. This place that I'm sitting in right now was his ability. My gift is his ability to be able to not only instill that ability within us, but to also allow him to be the captain of our ship, to be the captain of the desires and goals of places that we want to go. You guys may have been tested. You may have guys have been going through different challenges and adversity in your life, but his ability has been able to save you time and time again. Yes or no in the chat box. You have been saved time and time again, right? And then last but not least, I have complete trust in his strength, right? See, what a lot of people do most of the time is that their trust is that they try to put their trust within themselves on the flesh side, but not truly embracing that spiritual. Guys, I believe that if we really stay in tune with ourselves and really just think sometimes, we'll begin to see a lot of miraculous areas in our life. For instance, you don't tell yourself when to breathe, right? You're not, if you hold your breath, your body is going to force you to breathe. I believe that's a miracle. That is powerful. Nobody can explain that, right? Nobody can explain the fact that I can use my imagination. I have a brain and then I have a mind. Scientists cannot explain the mind. They're trying to figure it out today. That is supernatural. So you can't tell me that there's another power that exists beyond us. I mean, there's not another power that exists beyond us, because there's a lot of things as humans that we still don't understand. So I have complete trust, reliability, ability, and strength in God. All right. So I want you guys, with understanding the definition of trust, and understand that faith is complete trust. All right. So understanding my topic here tonight is, what is your faith threshold? So the second part of faith is confidence in something, right? Confidence in something. So the question is, what is the definition of confidence? Now, the trust side is you believing in somebody else, believing in God, trusting his reliability and in the ability. But the confidence side is more so based off of feeling. All right. You can rely, it's the feeling that you can rely on someone or something. It's a firm trust. It's a more of a feeling factor. This goes more into your five senses. So not only am I aware mentally that I trust God, but I can feel it. If you've ever felt his presence in your life, if you've ever felt that all things are going to work out, if you've ever felt that everything is going to be okay, no matter how much your sight is showing you the challenges, the storm, the fire, the adversity, even when the sun is shining and everything is going great, there's still this feeling that overcomes you, right? And let alone when everything settles, when the rain settles, when the storm settles, there's a feeling that overcomes you. If you've ever felt that feeling of relief, that feeling of confidence, that feeling of favor over your life, drop some ones in the chat box for me, right? That feeling, guys, is a feeling that you should never let go. You got to be completely conscious of that feeling at all times. At all times, never let go of the feeling, never let go of the confidence, because there's a difference that people don't realize. I call it, I gotta remember the term, but it's a term out there where people have a level of awareness, but it doesn't mean it correlates with belief. All right. It doesn't mean you believe it. All right. So you have to understand that I call it a two-way prayer, where you say one thing, but you're believing for another. Your heart, you may speak it out of your mouth, but everything that people say out of their mouth doesn't mean it resonates in their heart. So that's why y'all got to understand that having trust, having faith means it's not only me having faith means that he's reliable, that I trust him, that I know his strength, I know his ability. And not only am I aware of his abilities and functions, but I have complete faith and the confidence. I can feel that he's going to bring me through. And I've always felt it because I am a living testimony. Do I have any living testimonies on the line tonight? All right, I'm a living testimony. There may be people around you that have faced trials and tribulations, and you have lived through their storms. You have been a witness to their storms, and let alone your personal testimonies. I don't know what you guys have been through tonight. You probably just like Les Brown said, you probably just left a storm. You're in a storm, and you're going to have to feel like you're in that season of peace, and you're going to be headed to a storm. But I want you guys to get to a level of awareness where no matter what storms that you're facing, you can still trust that God's presence still resides in your life, right? So you have to really be confident in that. And don't get so naive to the fact that once you're out of the storm, that nothing else is headed your way, right? As long as you're living, always going to face storms. Somebody dropped the word storm in the chat box. As long as you're living now, that doesn't mean you don't have the ability to weather the storm. Okay. You just have to have an awareness to know, listen, God just brought me out of this situation. I got my armor on and I am happy and I'm grateful and I am present. But I also know that if there's another storm that comes in my life, maybe in a year from now, 6 months from now, I still have my armor of faith on. I still have my armor on, because that's why I'm asking you, what is your faith threshold? All right. So what we've discovered is faith threshold. Faith is complete trust and confidence in something. I'm going to say complete trust and confidence in God. Now, what in the world does threshold mean? Threshold means the magnitude or the intensity that must be exceeded for a certain reaction, result, or condition to occur. I'm going to say that again. Threshold is the magnitude or the intensity. Something has to happen. Something has to be exceeded for a certain reaction to happen, for a certain result to happen. So some people say pain threshold. Some people can take a certain amount of pain before they give a reaction. All right. And so I want to use that on tonight as far as what's your faith threshold. What levels of adversity do you face before you give certain reactions, before you your faith starts to waver, or before there's a different result or conditions to start happening in your life? So for instance, somebody, you may have just lost their job. Somebody may have a health situation occurring. Somebody may be going through a divorce. Somebody may be dealing with financial burdens and situations. Guys, you have to understand that no matter what level of adversity you're facing, you can't have faith under certain conditions. All right. That's what I mean by faith threshold. So when somebody may have lost their job, they didn't waver, right? It's okay, that's cool. I know I got another one. Just put my resume in, go out here and hunt and search for a job. But then there's another person who's panicking, they're crying, they're just in complete distress because they are forgetting. All right. They're completing forgetting over and over and over again. I want to give you guys a story in Deuteronomy 7 when I think it's Aaron or Moses is speaking, and they're basically talking about their experience for 40 years through trying to get to the promised land. I want you guys to understand, when you keep that faith, when you continue to stay grounded, he's saying in this particular space, in this time, God was saying, I will bless the fruit of your womb. I will bless the crops of your land, your grain, your wine, your calves, etc. You will be blessed more than most people. None of your men and women will be childless. None of your livestock will be out without young. He was stating so many different things about what blessings they will receive. But I think what hit me was that not only did he fulfill his promise, but it was like he was saying, I'm going to give you things that you didn't have to work for. Your houses will, he said, a land that's so large, flourishing cities that you didn't even build. I'm going to give you houses filled with all kinds of good things that you didn't provide. I'm going to allow your wells. I'm going to give you wells that you don't have to dig. He's giving resources. He's giving blessings for things that you didn't even have to work for. But just really being faithful and staying the course. I'm going to give you vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. Things that you can eat that make you satisfied. But be careful. Do not forget me. I brought you out of the land of slavery, right? So, or out of the land of Egypt, excuse me. So I want you to put that into your own perspective. What journeys are you going through that God is taking you on purpose because he's trying to teach you how to be humble? God put them through that long journey because he was trying to humble them. He said, I led you all the way through this way for 40 years to humble you, to test your heart, right? Whether or not you will keep this commandment. I did this to humble you, right? To teach you that man doesn't live off bread alone. So guys, you got to think about this. If you keep this in perspective, that I'm going to be faced with adversity, I'm going to be faced with challenges and circumstances because he's testing my heart. He's testing my faith threshold. How long will I provide for you? How long will I be able to open up doors for you? How long will I continue to answer your prayers, even when you don't even need, when you feel like even when you try to take the credit for yourself? I am still there for you. I am still providing. I'm still opening doors for you. But what moment does it take for you to forget about me? And that's what people's paradigm is. Most people go through life praying, begging, but you don't have to beg God for nothing, first of all, because he knows the desires of your heart. And if it's truly a desire and it doesn't contradict with your words out of your mouth, then there's nothing to be begging for, right? But when you truly understand, let me make a list of things. God, what does it take for me to be like, man, I don't even know he's going to come through this time. A lot of people's faith threshold is so weak. It's not strong, right? The columns don't stand with so much because they start to shake. They start to be on shallow ground, right? And I want you to think of that ground as your soil, your faith. What is your foundation? What is your strength? How much can you take before your faith begins to waver? How much can you take on before you forget that God is present in your life, right? And that's what you have to study. And that's what you have to master, is continuously exercising, building that relationship and understanding how to make sure that your foundation remains so strong that no matter how many weights of adversity are put on your shoulders, that you can still lift them up with God's help. Somebody drop some ones in the chat box if you're feeling me. No matter how many weights are added to this bar, right? No matter how much I have to keep lifting, how much until you burn out, how much until you give out your faith threshold, right? Exercise means the process or activity carried out to sustain your health or improve your health. Now, when we think of the word health, a lot of times people just literally think about only their physical bodies, okay? But exercise means the process or the activity carried out to improve my financial health. What exercises am I doing to make sure that my finances are healthy? To make sure I'm on top of my budget, to know my income to debt ratio, to make sure I'm working on my credit, to make sure I'm not getting all caught up in credit card debt and using them just strictly for liabilities, but understanding investment. What daily activities or weekly activities are you doing to make sure you stay on top of your financial health? What exercises, the process of activity to sustain or to have improvement, right? What exercises are you doing to make sure you take care of your mental health? People have had trauma. People are dealing with abuse. People are dealing with so much self-doubt, lack of self-love. What are you doing to get to know you, right? You got to back away from just being in relationships because you feel like you need somebody. No, you need to learn how to love yourself. Begin to identify who you are. What are your likes and dislikes? You cannot be a chameleon in every single relationship. And I'm not just talking about partnerships and spouses and marriages. I'm talking about your friendships. I'm talking about your careers. You got to know your identity so you don't just sit there and settle for things that are not you, right? Most people don't understand how to customize their thinking. They're used to just chameleonizing their thinking. That's not a word, but I'm gonna make it one tonight. Most people don't customize their thinking. Their thinking is to just submit to anybody's. You got to be careful of the environments around. There are certain friends I know for sure if I hang around, they're going to be doing some stuff and some old stuff I used to do back in the day. And I know if I hang around them, they may want to influence me, right? But I got to stay away from those type of environments. I got to stay away from those certain things because that's not my identity. I don't do that no more. I don't do those type of things no more. So I am careful of where I position myself because a lot of people don't have enough confrontation, if you will, to speak up for themselves. Like, listen, I don't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this without you feeling bad. Don't make people put you inside of a corner and make you do things that you want to do. You got to position yourself and do the exercises so that when you know your identity, you're not quick to surrender and submit yourself to things that you don't want to do. What is your physical exit? What things are you doing on the physical side? I've been kind of fit about 50-50 with my exercise in the past week or so, right? March, I was killing it. April has been kind of shaky, okay? But what I can say is I'm holding myself accountable. I am aware of that. I know that if I want to get this fine body that I be looking at, I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I do this. Exercise, the process and the activity for improvement of health and sustaining it, right? So what are we doing to take care of ourselves? When's the last time you had a physical? When was the last time you went to the dentist? You should be getting a cleaning every 6 months. A lot of people breath kicking like hog maws and pig feet because they don't simply go to the dentist and get a cleaning, right? So you gotta understand, what are you doing? Exercises. Most people put themselves in these horrible or just what they so-called stressful situations because of laziness. It's just strictly laziness or ignorance. Pick up the book, get an audio, make the phone call. Guys, we live in an age where we have freaking Google. You can Google anything. That's right, D. You can Google anything. There is no reason why you can't find the answer. Right? What is your health when it comes to your emotional side? Are you reactive or are you respond? Do you quick to curse people out? Are you quick to flip the bird? Like, you got to really begin to identify who you are. That just shows your level of patience, your lack of patience, and your lack of awareness when it comes to how people operate, right? There are certain things I just refuse to entertain because I understand who I am. And then I understand people, right? And so if they allow you to get to certain positions and allow you to react a certain way, that means you haven't been active. So you got to get to know who you are. I want you to start doing more research on you. Who are you? Who do you want to become? I saw something or read something the other day that said, if you knew what day you were going to pass away, who do you want next to you and who would you want to be? I said, man, that's kind of deep. Who would you want to spend time with? I think it was a story about Jesus. Who would you want to spend time with the day before? And what person would you have wanted to become if you knew the day you were going to pass away? What are you doing the night before? It was a story about Jesus. It was about when he was doing when he was having a dinner with the disciples, right? So what people do you want to be surrounded by? And what type of person would those people speak of? What would they say about you that night before? And you got to really get in tune with that. And if you don't care, then you just simply don't care. But if you're here to live your best life and become the best version of yourself, it really just takes for you to really break down your identity and figure out who you need to be. What weaknesses are you dealing with? Why? If you complain about something, go research what's the solution. If you're dissatisfied with certain areas of your life, go Google the solution. Go ask questions. Get in people DMs. We got to be better with communication, right? I got to tell y'all a funny story at the end of this call. To start about something when it comes to communication. Okay. But threshold, the magnitude and the intensity that must be exceeded. How much do you have to deal with before you say, I'm going to throw in the towel? All right. Well, how many things do you have to be faced with before you throw in the towel? You cannot be like the children of Israel and always forgetting what God has brought you through. So many people do that. He said, all I ask for you to do is remain humble and remember me. Remember all of the years, all the miracles that I've done for you for 40 years. I just ask you to remember them. And it's the 40th year and he said, they hard-headed. Why is it that y'all still keep forgetting that I got your back? All right. Has anybody ever been there before? Yes or no in the chat box. Has there been adversities in your life sometimes and you just be like, man, I don't know if he's hearing me. I don't know if he really here, because this is looking real kind of this looking real on the edge, guy. Where you at, bro? I really need you here, man. Cause I don't know if you hear my prayers, man. Right? We've all been there. I've been angry with God. It was years ago, but I was angry with God. And when I came back to, and I just realized it was stupid of how angry I was. But why do you keep forgetting how long I've been there? So are you just like the children of Israel? And guys, do you understand? They went through a space for 40 years. God took them through that process for 40 years on purpose. They was able to get to the promised land in less than 7 days. But because of their complaining, because of their ignorance, because of their completeness because of their ability to keep forgetting, he said, we're going to keep going around a long way until I become a part of your identity. That's all he's asking. Let me be a part of your identity. But if I am not listen, when 9/11 happened, when shootings happened, when so many things happened, when the pandemic happened, there's somebody called a first responder, right? There's a person called the first responder. And what most people do is that God is not their first. They don't call on God as their first responder. Now, some people may call because they're just being reactive. That's not their nature. It's just, oh God, it's more of an impulsive thing. But when you're home alone and you're dealing with things, right? What are you doing for yourself to say, no matter how much the oceans wave or bashing against my ship, no matter how much this boat is rocking, no matter if it's a calm day where the birds are out and the sun is shining, it's cool, calm, and collective, or there's a storm and the waves are smashing, what is my reaction? You got to get to a point where your reaction is the same, whether it's calm or stormy. That's what you got to get to. You got to grow to that point. I used to look at my mom and my grandma and I'd be like, bruh, why are they so chill? Man, we're going through some things. But because they were not like the children of Israel who always kept forgetting, it's 40 years. And why is God and Moses still having a conversation about, please don't forget about me? I shouldn't be the second option. I should be your first responder on your end. Someone designated and trained to respond not only to emergencies, but just to your life when things are good. You shouldn't just call on me in an emergency, but I should be a part of your lifestyle. So my question on you, and I've said this before, are you going to be like the children of Israel? Well, I got to take you around these different places. He sent them to different nations. He sent them to different areas around the world so they can have these different experiences. Because all he was trying to do was be remembered. Just sit and humble them. But as soon as they were oh man, we're running out of food, man. You done brought us up out of Egypt, man, just for us to come out here in the wilderness and get hungry. But they never had to plant food. This is so crazy. They never had to plant a single seed, y'all. They never had to do anything. God would just tell them to go somewhere and everything they needed would be there at all times. But oh man, we ran out of food. We should just stay slaves. They say that so many times. We should just stay slaves, bro. At least we had some food to eat. And that's how a lot of people operate. Rather than depending on freedom and faith, They're dependent on slavery and submission. Whew, it was deep. My goodness. Instead of living a life of freedom and faith, they're more happy living a life of slavery and submission. And so you have to look at yourself in the mirror on tonight and look at who you are. What is your identity? I believe that when I look at the word laziness, I look at that as a side of slavery and submission. When people choose to be lazy, they're still carrying on the legacy of the children of Israel who continuously complain and don't want to go out there and really understand that God got their back. Slavery and submission, guys, is the same thing as modern day slavery. There are some big goals that I have right now for my life. I am sitting here every day, whether I'm traveling or not. I have a certain quota that I have to meet. There's certain numbers that I have to meet. There's certain contacts and communication that I have to meet because I set a goal. That goal is only going to be honored when that goal stays a desire. I need you to hear me on tonight. If your goal is not met with desire, it won't be met with God. Whew, come on, B. If your goal is not met with desire, it won't be met with God because he only gives you the desires of your heart. And I need you to understand, he's not even giving it to you. He's giving you access to it, right? It's already something. As soon as your mind says, okay, for instance, my goal, January, I think it was 14th, I'm sitting at home, talking to my friend Cliff. He's talking about apps and stuff. He sends me the Mighty Network app and he says, B, I know you want to do, teaching and stuff like that. You should check this app out. 2 weeks later, I launched a Signals chat. 2 weeks later, never launched a paying Signals app before in my life. I got to create FAQs and all this. I said, whatever, we're going to do it because it's a desire. I went from zero customers. We've had over 100 people subscribe. I think right now we have about 95 active, right? My first goal for subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, was 95 people. I said, God, I just want to hit 95 people. That's the first goal. But I can't just hit 95 people by being silent. I can't hit 95 people by crossing my fingers and hope that it happens. What do I have to do? I have to create communication. I have to create content. I have to create results. But the thing is, the number 95 wasn't me hoping that I reach it. It was, can I earn what God has already created for my life? Can I earn the 95? God says, be Burrell and everybody on this call just need you to remain humble. I need you to stay along this journey and give me the glory. That's all I need you to do. And I will give you everything that you desire. We had 22 people sign up in 6 days, right? I hadn't even dropped no videos yet. So I want you guys to understand he's honoring your effort. He's honoring your desire. But when adversity happens, and that's why I brought that up, the first month I launched the app, since January 20th of 2019, I have been sending signals for people consecutively, every single week consecutively. I've never taken a day off. The only time I took a day off probably like 1 month when we had some things happening within my previous company. But 19, 20, 21, this is going on 4 years consecutively sitting trades. And the month of February was a threshold for me, guys. I had never lost that many trades in my life. I thought I was like, am I tripping? What is going on? But the question, God had to send some adversity and some new lessons my way to see if I truly desire what it is that I wrote down. B, it ain't that you can't have it. It's, are you willing to fight? Are you willing to continuously believe? I could have gave up in that first 2 weeks. I go, y'all, you know what? Bump that. We're going to delete this app. This ain't really, I guess I won't need to do this. The threshold, it tested me in so many areas. It tested me in so many different ways. But I didn't waver. I had even people texting me like, B, is everything okay? Because they know my trading record. Like, bro, is something going on? I'm like, nah, man, I don't know what's going on. It was the war, right? But I didn't allow that to be I didn't allow that to swallow me up. No, we're going to see this through. So now I just got over a huge threshold in my life. People probably just were like, no, she sucked. Or I could have allowed, people's criticism, all that stuff to destroy me. But no, I know my record. I know who I am because I know my identity. Right? So that's my question on for you tonight. It doesn't matter what adversities that you face. When you know yourself and you know what you're capable of and you know who's in control, There's no doubt. There should be no doubt in your mind what you can achieve. Most people's inabilities comes to their passion for laziness and procrastination. It's a lot of you guys on this call who's launched new businesses or in the process in saving lives and impacting lives. But my question on you for you tonight is, what is your faith threshold? Because it goes in another way. Are you comfortable with a few people in your business? Are you comfortable that you only have 50 people in your business, 100? No, guys, my C-type goal, which is my biggest goal, is 2,720 people in my app. That is my biggest goal. Why? Because my why. That is why. Because I want to be able to afford my entire family's cost of living. That is my why. So I didn't let this embarrassment, if people want to call it an embarrassing moment or whatever, a challenging moment or adversity, to talk me out of my goals. Now we're rocking and rolling. We're shooting over 80% with 32 and 8. Right? So I want you to understand your faith threshold is going to go in two ways. There's going to be you carrying that bar, you lifting these weights. I don't have no bar next to me, but if this is a weight, when you're lifting and you're pushing it up, it's easy to be happy when it's easy to lift, right? You're blessed. You know, I was sitting there thanking God every single day. I write in my gratitude book, and I was sitting there thanking God, and I said, God, thank you for my home. Thank you for my car. Thank you for the tires. Thank you for the shower. Thank you for the hot water, the cold water, the dishwasher, the ceiling, the lights, the electricity, the gas, the refrigerator. Thank you for the food in the refrigerator. Thank you for the bed, the cover, every specification. We call them small things, but that's the biggest things because those are necessities. But you know what was so great? I write in my book every day. Sometimes people might read it. If they read it, they ain't gonna be able to understand it because I write in cursive, but it's the same gratitude. And what people will probably look at is like, dang, she just said the same thing over and over again. Because I didn't have to wake up today. My mom, she's on the prayer line every day at 6 o'clock. And she said a lady was getting ready to launch her business, and she was probably like 58 or something like that. And she didn't wake up. She passed away in her sleep. So broke her heart, right? So you're not even thankful that you were able to not only lay your head in the bed, but you woke up. Guys, supernatural power. Somebody has the ability to pass away in their sleep. That's why I'm thankful every single day. And not only am I grateful for the necessities, but I am grateful that my necessities are things that I actually want. I'm not just living anywhere. God chose this place when I wanted it so bad once I got exposed to it. Guess what? I am grateful for my home, and it's a place that I actually wanted. It's a necessity and a want. I wanted this place. The car that I drive, I wasn't getting no car unless it was an LS 460. I drive that car, right? I wanted to learn the skill of trade, and I didn't want nothing else until I got that skill down pat. Your desire has to be so obsessive. And when you are faced with these different trials, when you come to the threshold, also means doorway. It also means new beginning. When you step into a new doorway, a new threshold, are you walking into a new version of yourself? Or is that door going to be closed on you because you cannot handle the adversity that you're living in within the current threshold? You're on level 1. You're lifting 10 pounds of fame, right? Maybe you get a flat tire. Okay, cool. You can handle a flat, right? Maybe your engine goes out. You're not tripping. You can handle the engine going out in your car, right? Then the transmission goes, you're like, Lord. Then if the transmission goes out, your first responder is this. You're not saying, oh Lord, in a exciting, in a faithful way. You're saying it in a worrisome way. Oh Lord, right? And so now your threshold, your faith threshold is beginning to start weakening because you can't lift this weight. Now, some of us can look right past whatever trash, jump the car, get a new one. Cool, you still lifting, you still easy, right? And then another adversity. Maybe something happens in your marriage. Maybe something happens within your children. Maybe something happens in your family. Whatever. It's starting getting a little heavy. Like, oh Lord, your arms start shaking and quivering, right? Y'all ever did squats and them thighs start burning out, walking like Bambi? Listen, that is your faith threshold. So you got to understand that you have the ability to carry it all, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And endure it all. Endure it all because God is going to carry your burdens for you. Right. but you got to give them to them. You got to give it to them. That's the key. See, what we do is we leave the burdens here, right here within our vicinity, instead of saying, God, I know you got my back. I got this big old sign at my door. God supplies all my needs in every single point of space, and every single moment of time, there's always a divine surplus. It's the first thing you see in my door, besides the other sign that says, take them dusty shoes off. All right. So you have to really understand your identity, and you got to exercise who you want to become. Because when adversity comes your way, if you have not been exercising, you will not be able to endure while God is carrying you. Right. So please understand that. Don't be like the children of Israel 40 years later, and God is like, bro, please do me a favor. As I bless you abundantly, you don't have to plant no crops. Y'all got to really think about that. Y'all got to really think about that. You don't have to plant no crops. You don't have to dig no wells. You don't have to look for food. I have given you a job. I am providing for you, right? You have been able to develop your skills and increase your experience so that you can create a new resume for a promotion or look for a new job. I have given you transportation. I have given you breath in your lungs. I have given you love and kindness and compassion and forgiveness. I have given, and I am giving a lot of things you didn't even have to work for. And as you're in this space of abundance and overflow, when you are living in a space where you didn't have any effort, but just using your faith and just a little bit of work, and I am still providing for you. When you in that happy place, please don't forget about me. And here you are, 30 years old, 40 years old, 20 years old. He has been there and supplied all your needs in every single point of space, in every single moment of time. Things that you know you did wrong, things that you know good and well you should have got punished for. I have been there. I'm like, bro, I should have been like, whatever. But he gave you grace you didn't even know you had. So here you are, all blessed, all good, living a good life. And in the space of you in the space of me supplying all your needs, as I'm filling your houses, taking care of your children, and giving you all the food and everything that you deserve, I am teaching you on tonight to please keep me as your first responder. Allow your faith threshold to endure all things that come your way. The book of James was one of my favorite books. Be joyful in the space of adversity, for I am giving you patience. And patience means the ability to accept, tolerate, the ability to accept or tolerate suffering, delay, without complaining or anger. Okay. So I am sending adversity your way. I'm going to take you through these different directions because there's a certain person I need you to become. I need you to correlate that. He sent the children of Israel through a 40-year journey that could have taken less than 7 days. But because they weren't humble, they weren't obedient, they didn't trust him, they didn't have complete confidence, and he wasn't their first responder, and they kept forgetting his miraculous power in their life. He kept sending them the long way until they remember. So my question for you on tonight is, how long are you going to be sent the long way until you remember? Ooh, woo! Come on, be real. My neighbor going to come down here and cuss me out in a minute. All right? How long are you going to be sent the long way until you remember? And allow your faith threshold to endure. Because if you begin to weaken in your faith, you got to go through another journey until you remember me. That's all it is, guys. People look at certain people's, their life is easy. No, their faith threshold is just, they're taking them hits. They know God got their back. They just got, the job just got, the entire company just shut down. But their faith, they didn't move. They don't have a panic attack. And everything is a ripple effect. I love it. Not only when people can at first, let's say the company shut down. Well, God also gave them wisdom to be, what I just tell you, exercise means the process of activity to improve your health or sustain it, not just physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So if I am exercising the education and getting the knowledge to be good at my finances. No matter what happens with the company, I kept allocating 10% into my savings. I kept making sure I was investing into my portfolios. But because I didn't exercise now, when adversity happens, I'm the person being reactive instead of being calm, being in a space of wisdom and peace. Because not only did I exercise these principles while I was headed to the promised land, when I got to the promised land, or when I got to the space of adversity, it didn't matter which way the door turned, didn't matter which way the course, the way it happened, whether it was good or bad. I was prepared to face both. I was prepared to receive the blessing, and I was also able to endure the adversity because I exercise the principles now. Come on, B. Right? So when that company shut down, guess what? They're sitting there with peace and wisdom because they did the exercises of allocating, saving, and investing. Where there's other people who made the same amount of money, but because they never exercised the same principles, they're having a panic attack. They're forgetting. They're not remembering because, oh my goodness, God is so amazing. And that was a test. Oh, wait a minute. You can be in the same vehicle as another person, millions, thousands. We could be in the same vehicle, driving in the same road. We're going to have our different challenges and bumps in the road, but there's a destination that we're both looking forward to. We're both on the same job. And then God sends adversity. And I want to say it's not, God sends a test. That's all. I'm not even calling it adversity. God sends a test. Because I exercised all these principles, when the test came, I was able to pass it. But when the test came for you, you failed it. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we all can be headed towards the same goals, same desires. They all going to have their own little different characteristics, but ultimately, you are giving enough wisdom and enough direction and guidance to be prepared. A lot of tests aren't considered adversities. They're just considered, are you just going to pass this moment? We sit a lot of different situations thinking that they're just adversity, but it's really categorized as tests. But you gave it the look, you gave it the face of adversity because you were never prepared to face it. You weren't exercising, you weren't studying the books, you weren't reading the word, you wasn't on YouTube, you wasn't listening to Les Brown, you wasn't listening to Tony Robbins, you wasn't listening to Jim Rohn, you wasn't listening to Earl Nightingale, you wasn't listening to Dr. Joseph Murphy, you wasn't listening to T.D. Jakes. And so when the test comes, because that test to me could have been a breeze, that test for you could have felt like a panic attack. But when you exercise and do what you need to do to stay healthy in all areas of your life, what can be considered adversity for somebody else can be considered a breeze for you because you didn't forget. You remembered. I am snapping tonight. I am feeling this. I hope y'all feeling this tonight, right? Man, that just hit me different. So always exercise, stay the course, and never forget. Don't go the long way. Don't go the long way. Make it an affirmation to never forget. Put a sign in the house, whatever it is that you got to do. Right? But never forget, because your disloyalty, your anger, your complaining, your whining, your resentment, your unforgiveness, love yourself first. Love yourself. And if you don't love parts about you, what you got to do? Exercise. It's so simple. Everything has a solution, right? And then when you begin to love more yourself, you can have more love for people. And you want to get to a point. There's certain people I deal with. I love a lot, and I give a lot of love. And I noticed when loving people, it's hard for them to receive it because they don't love themselves. I realized that. I was like, man, they get defensive. I'm like, bro, I'm just loving like Jesus. But a lot of people can't comprehend that because they're not exercising their spirituality. They're not getting in tune with that. You got to seek counseling. You got to seek, I think Dr. Miller has a counseling agency. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Miller. And we have to seek counseling. We have to seek healing. We have to seek spiritual counseling or whatever, so we can heal and so we can receive and so we can see things the right way and head on the right path. but you're going to live in this loophole, in this circle over and over again, because you're not changing what it is. You're not changing your perspective by gathering new information, by seeking healing, by seeking counseling. You're hoarding the past. And so that's why you keep reliving it. Is really what it is. You don't want to let go of what was to become what is, right? So you have to make a decision on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be like the children of Israel, where God is intentionally taking you the long way for you to get the lesson. And don't let it be longer than 40 years. I mean, you might as well hang it up, right? But don't take too long. That's all I got to say. The faster you can make him your first responder. All right. Remember, first responder means someone designated or trained to respond. He's trained. He's the creator. Designated. Is he designated? Have you designated him? That's the key, because he's given us choice. Have you designated him to be the first responder, not only in adversity and emergencies in your life, but when the sun is shining and things are going well? That's when people forget. He's blessing you over and over, and that's when people forget. First responder. Don't forget. Don't take the long route. First responders are considered real life superheroes. They respond immediately when there's an accident or emergency. There's no EMT, paramedic, firefighter, or police officer that can do what God has done for you. Put him at the top of your list, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, your life is going. And remember, the point of not forgetting is to understand that when you're lifting your faith, when your faith is being built and you're strengthening it, it's not the size of a mustard seed. He said it's as little as a mustard seed, but your faith can be as big as Mount Rushmore. We don't talk about that enough. We put so much perspective on faith the size of a mustard seed. But what if we say faith the size of Mount Rushmore? What if we say the faith the size of the moon? Guess what? Then your level of endurance changes. Your level of purpose, your level of love, your level of peace. So many things you're getting elevated. So enjoy the weightlifting training. All right. Enjoy your weightlifting. It's going to burn. The muscles got to tear. You got to go through things. You're going to go through some pain. You're going to go through some tears. You're going to maybe feel lonely sometimes. You're going to feel like maybe there's somebody you can't even talk to. But I promise you, endure, because once they tear, they grow back again, but they grow back stronger and stronger. So no matter how many thorns have been thrown at you, no matter how many roadblocks and limiting and disbeliefs and stuff that you may have dealt with, or things that you believe are part of your identity right now, I promise you, nobody is stuck on this call. To feel you're stuck is a level of ignorance, because you have books. People have been through so many things, and we can live through other people's life experiences. You can learn other people's lessons. Google, research, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There's information and value everywhere. But it's your choice to choose what you allow yourself to absorb. Customize your thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Don't allow the world to customize it for you, because now you're just drifting. You're just going with the flow. All right. I love y'all. And this was just an amazing call. And I remember, don't go the long way. All right. Allow him to be your first responder. And I want to tell y'all one more thing to end the call with a joke. I mean, not a joke, but a real life experience. So first, did y'all get some value on tonight? Customize your thinking. Did y'all get some value on tonight? Please tell me y'all got some value on tonight. Right? Woo! All right, my second favorite is this, and I'm gonna tell y'all a hilarious story. Can y'all go to the generational? What's our hashtag? Okay, we got first responder. I want to give 2 hashtags tonight. First responder and don't forget. Let's go to the generational wealth chat, y'all, and just hashtag it in there. First responder. Oh no, don't go the long way. That's what it was. Don't go the long way. Oh yeah, or remember. You can say remember too. I guess that is short ice. Don't go the long way. Remember, first responder. Let me go ahead and drop mine real quick. Right. Let's make sure we drop that in the GW chat when we finish this call. But I want to tell y'all something. So I love where I live. It's absolutely amazing. And it's pretty quiet. I mean, y'all see how quiet it is? I'm talking loud, but it's really quiet. So my neighbor moved upstairs. I'm just like, for the past 3-4 weeks, I have been cringing. My eye has been twitching because I am figuring out why is it so loud every day, all day. And except, of course, when we go to bed at night. So I'll forget about it. Then I wake up and it's getting to the point where I'm about to just pull my hair out. I have a high level of patience. My level of patience is not ordinary. So I called the leasing office last week and I said, hey, I need some advice on how to communicate with it. You need to tell me what's going on upstairs. Is it somebody that is, a big person? Are they 7 feet tall, a giant? Like, what is going on? Why is it so loud upstairs all the time? So he said, well, I can call for you. I said, well, how are you going to tell them that they're loud? And so he said, you can figure out an indirect way to communicate. So clearly he never called because they're still loud. So I'm sitting here doing some work and I said, I can't take it. I just get fed up because my music is going. The music don't need help. I get up there and go to the elevator, y'all. And I have prepared. I said, I'm going to say my name is Brittany Burrell. I'm going to ask them how are they doing. I have prepared the order of what I'm going to say things. I knock on the door. This person opens the door and they're standing there with a walker. And I said, wait. As soon as they opened the door, I said, oh, I see what's going on here. And that was it came out of my mouth. Now, if y'all know me personally, I'm a jokester, I'm sarcastic, but I didn't mean for that to come out right away because I had said to myself, I'm going to say, I'm Brittany. It's nice to meet you. Y'all, the lady that had hip surgery, so she is dragging her walker around the house all day. She's probably like maybe 50, 48, 50. And I was sitting there like, no, they weren't supposed to go this way. So I'm sitting there like, I'm sorry, my name is Brittany. It's nice to meet you. I said, I just want to make sure everything was okay. I just want to make sure. So now I'm trying to fix what I said because I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. So I'm like, my name is Brittany, by the way. How you doing? I just want to make sure everything is okay. Blase. And she said, oh, I'm sorry if it's been too loud. I just had hip surgery. I said, oh, no, it just sounds like a little roaring going on. I said, sound like somebody being thrown around up here. And I'm like, can't be. And I didn't realize. I said, it sounded like somebody being thrown around. I said, I got to do better. But it was just hilarious. She took it well. I got to do better with my communication. I don't know. I guess because it caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for that. And then I said, well, if I'm loud too, let me know. And I said, if I'm loud too, let me know. Like, it's like one of them comedy shows. Just like, stop talking, just stop talking. But she ended the conversation with a joke, and it was good. But I think I got to give her a care package because I done said 3 things that was completely off the wall. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. So I like to feel good at what I'm doing. I want to have a happy time being at home. I ain't want to be agitated. So I had the conversation. It went well in a way. All right. But the point of that is everything ain't gonna go the way that you expect it to. I messed up so bad I didn't even want to ask how long her healing process was. Once I said it sounded like somebody being thrown around, and then she opened the door with that walker, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I said it sounded like bodies being dragged up here, but she's healing. So, they can't sit down all day on their hip. They got to keep it in motion. So now this is the funny part, and I'm done. Every time I know she's dragging, I imagine her sliding across in her walker, and I'm just sitting here cracking up now. So everything ain't always what it seems, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I can say my level of patience came from my spiritual foundation. I can say that. But listen, we had a great call tonight. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will drop the playback either tonight or in the morning. And remember, first responder, Isis said, what you say, Isis? Remember,
B, remember.
Remember, and don't go the long way. All right, y'all have an amazing night. Be safe. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. And y'all drop some hashtags in the GW chat, and I'll see y'all next week. Take care.